Hey, my good friends, welcome back to the Scentitar Fragrance channel. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Of course, I review fragrances, colognes, perfumes, and all things scent related as usual. So today we're going to be talking about none other than Fearful Symmetry from the house of Possets. Now, this was sent to me for review, and the brand just wants to get their name out there. They're a small indie brand. They don't have a lot of marketing. They don't have a lot of going on that way. So they wanted me to share my thoughts about this fragrance. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to tell you all the smell, the performance, the compliment factor, and the price, just how I like to do it here. So let's first talk about the smell. What are you going to get out of this fragrance? Now, first off, I want to pull a little bit of attention to the two lions. If you go to their website, linked in the description below, not an affiliate link, you will see the two lions facing face to face, like with some symmetry. And Fearful Symmetry is definitely what we got going on. You know, very intense fragrance, very passionate. Speaks a lot to what the fragrance is. But what is it? What am I talking about? It's a dark licorice fragrance. Have you ever tried one of those? Have you ever seen anything like that? Licorice is not a note that's often in fragrances. There's a lot of notes to this fragrance. I often do not like to just read off the notes. I like to tell y'all how the fragrance smells to my nose, the vibe, what you're going to get from the fragrance, because you can get a lot of different smells. You can make a lot of different things from different types of notes. The notes aren't, just reading the notes doesn't really give you an accurate way or really tell you or help you understand how the fragrance exactly smells. Because of how things are blended and the proportions of each note can very much change a composition. Anyways, what you're going to get from the very top, you're going to notice a blast of bubblegum. This is more of like a dark blue or almost like a black bubblegum. It's kind of sweet, it's a little bit obnoxious, it's kind of strange. Then it quickly kind of goes away a little bit. The bubblegum really stays through for a lot of the fragrance, really from the opening to the mid to the dry down. But, you know, it kind of dies down a little bit. And in the forefront of this fragrance is the licorice. This licoricey type quality is the forefront of the fragrance. It is really the most impactful kind of core to the fragrance, supported by this sweet, fresh, kind of lively, kind of bubble gum with a little bit more of a weight behind it, I guess you could say. Really interesting though, as it dries down, the fragrance, you really do get that authentic licoriciness. If you've ever smelled real licorice or brewed real root beer or any type of, you know, artisan type of drink, licorice has a signature, it has a signature type of quality behind it that you might have never smelled before. It's not just something that you would get from Twizzlers or a licorice style candy. There's a certain rootiness. There's a certain earthiness that comes from licorice and with real licorice like extract, the real smell of licorice. So overall, it's very nice. As it dries down, it becomes a little bit musky. It becomes quite interesting. And it has a little bit more of a darker overtone as a fragrance. This fragrance is a little bit more brooding. It's a little bit more dark. It's a magnetic fragrance. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later with the compliment factor. But it's a very interesting fragrance. Let's talk about the performance now. With performance, this fragrance, this is an indie brand. Indie brands often make their fragrances focus a little bit more on the longevity because they're kind of oil-based, or, you know, the fragrances are focused more on base notes. This one isn't a big shouter of a fragrance. It's more of an average kind of projecting fragrance. But it is a very distinctive smell, so even though it's a little bit on the lighter side of projection, people still pick it up kind of decently or fairly. Does it last a long time? For me, this is more of a, I would probably say, it's anywhere from a 6-hour fragrance, maybe a 7-hour fragrance. It's going to give you similar performance and kind of be a distant cousin to something like Dark Rebel by John Varvatos. Now, this is interesting again because of the not pineapple, because of the bubble gum. But let's jump into the compliment factor. Anyways, this fragrance becomes a little bit more musky, and because it doesn't project a lot, people often didn't pick this up on me that often. But when people did pick it up, They thought it was very intriguing. They thought it was very interesting because not only is the fragrance kind of inviting with the smell of bubblegum, the smell of bubblegum, especially sweet bubblegum, is kind of playful, but also it has this dark brooding side to it. And licorice is a very interesting note, and they've never really smelled it before, but it's not exactly a scary note. The licorice in this fragrance isn't exactly scary, but it is different, so it's intriguing and playful, and it kind of has that, it kind of creates that fearful symmetry. It kind of creates that vibe of something, you know, maybe dangerous but exciting. You know, something maybe as a kid, you know, you shouldn't do, but was very exciting, or something that was, you know, a temptation for you. Something that you might want to do, but, you know, maybe you knew that you shouldn't do. This fragrance creates that kind of vibe, and I think that they, you know, create a good fragrance with a good name. The name really matches the vibe of the fragrance. So overall, the price of these fragrances are about $30 or so. You can get a roll-on, which is the better way to go. This one is just open mouth, so you have to put some on your finger. Y'all see how oily my finger is, and just put it on your skin. I don't think a lot of people exactly like that, so the roll-on is the way to go. I don't think that they have any sprays available yet. I have tried to talk to them a little bit about that, but anyways, one of my final thoughts about this fragrance. It's really hard to, I think this is a great indie fragrance, but as far as an indie fragrance, I don't know that if this one is exactly overtly artistic. If you're into indie fragrances, you probably want something very artistic. You want something daring, something intriguing, something exotic. This fragrance definitely is a little bit more on the exotic side. I wouldn't exactly say that this fragrance is artistic, though. It's interesting. It's definitely going to pull people in. It's a little bit more of a, I think, a bad boy fragrance, or maybe a bad girl fragrance. I think it's perfectly unisex. I think anybody could wear it. I think that men might like it a little bit more than the ladies. But bubblegum, again, is not a note that I don't know if it's very appealing to a lot of men out there. If you're a younger man, I think that this is an interesting composition. I am kind of amazed that a designer fragrance or a designer house really hasn't created something like this yet. You know, Invictus was such a popular fragrance with bubblegum. You think that more fragrance houses maybe would have tried to use the note of bubblegum and capitalized on the popularity of Invictus. Maybe Paco Rabanne should have made a dark flanker of Invictus, and maybe it would have worked and been a very good seductive date fragrance. Anyways, very nice creation, a little bit more for the date night, a little bit more for the brooding individual, maybe a little bit better of a spring-fall fragrance. I don't know that this fragrance has enough performance to stand up exactly to the winter. It's a nice wearable dark fragrance. Overall, it's another nice creation from the house of Possets. Possets is doing a pretty good job over there. Again, if this is a new indie brand and you haven't heard about this fragrance, I encourage y'all to get some samples, try them out, give them a chance. I'll link their website down below, and you got to try them out. I'll definitely give them a chance. Again, I'm very grateful for them for working with me and sending these my way. So thank y'all so much for watching my review today, and my quick review and introduction to the house of Possets and the fragrance called, you know, Fearful Symmetry. I like the name. I like the idea. I do think that there could be a little bit more complexity to the fragrance. I'm always a fan of adding some dark patchouli or maybe a little bit of some tobacco. I do think that this fragrance, you know, might be nice if they added some black musk in the dry down. And but overall, it's nice. I do wish that the, you know, the concentration maybe was a little bit more, or maybe there's a little bit more longevity. But it's not bad whatsoever. But anyways, I'll see you, my friends, you know, tomorrow with the next video. Thank you so much for being here. If you like my content today, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share this share the video, you know, and I'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much for your love and support. Please comment below if you like indie fragrances, if you've tried this brand, if you like licorice in your fragrances, if you like bubblegum, or, you know, if you hate the note of bubblegum, maybe you hate Invictus. Let me know below. What do you think about all this? I guess get a conversation started. Wear what you love, my friends, and I'll see you next time, and bye.